Good morning, TikTok Nation. More Lenovo's with a couple of Dells thrown in. Sorry for the little bit of redundancy, but I'm hoping to stop you from making the same mistake with these that I did. Now, I've been scrapping computers for 5 or 6 years now, and it isn't the seller's fault, by the way. He had no idea what was in there. He took them out of, some place, and he, sat on them for a while, and then he sold them to me. So when I purchased these, now I have almost 100 of them to go through. I purchased them. I looked at it. It was an older computer, and I know this is upside down because of being on flip, but this actually says Intel Pentium inside. Okay, great. I'll get a candy cane motherboard, green metal socket motherboard. I'll get a chip, and I should get a little bit of RAM if I'm lucky, right? Nope. Let me tell you. Or better yet, let me show you. I don't have an age on these computers. Judging from these cases, they're at least 10 years old. Good morning, Scrappy Happy Pappy. How are you, my friend? Scrap Happy Pappy. Scrappy Happy Pappy. Alright. So, I hope by sharing this video that I can steer you away from making the mistake that I made. So when I looked over this lot, and of course, you don't sit there and open them all. Pro Windows 8 Intel Pentium inside. Like I said, my reasonable explanation was a green socket motherboard and I should get a Pentium chip. Right, nothing fancy. You get Pentiums, you get Core Duos, you get what are some of the other ones? You guys are all familiar with them. The ones you get out of older PCs. And I have been doing not a lot, but some research into all of this to try to figure out, hi Scotty, to figure out exactly why this happened and the reason I want to do that. I don't want to make this mistake again. So I wouldn't say buyer beware. Obviously the computers work. Lenovo is made by IBM. Hi Chad. They're made by Lenovo, so hey, Phil's Gold, how are you? Has your package arrived yet? I hope. I haven't been able to I haven't followed the tracking, and I usually do, I just haven't. I love joining these chats. Sometimes I'll get invited into a chat late at night, and I'll see all you guys on there too, and that's really awesome. It's kind of we got a nice little community going here. So anyway, I think Lenovo is basically a very bare bones, basic workstation computer that, not yet. Are you able to follow the tracking? Boy, that's taken a long time. And I sent that priority mail, and we sent it out right away. Keep me in the loop, would you, Phil? Ringo? That would be awesome. Anyway, so as a scrapper, I'd be very leery of buying a Lenovo like this. And as I said, when I went to buy these, this never happened to me before. We are working on. I'm working on this massive pile of PCs that I've got here. I did good today. I've gotten probably half of them processed, but again, I'm going to go through these and show you what happened so it doesn't happen to one of you if you get a chance to, somebody wants to sell you a Lenovo for scrap, run. It really, as I said, it certainly wasn't the seller's fault. You know, he's a computer guy. He goes in, he takes out computers and puts in new computers. I looked, it says Pentium 3, it says Windows 97, you know. Okay, sure, that's going to have a green socket motherboard in it. You know, those are, I think they're $3.49 a pound right now. So, you know, you do your thing, you get in here, you open it up, and you take out your couple of low-grade RAM sticks, and you go at it, right? Now, the first thing I see on this board, or don't see on this board, and here's your first clue, I do not see a gold-banded BGA. Big red flag. And this, my friends, all has to do with the current changes in the grading business with the boards, which is why I really, you know, bring this up again. Please don't make me have to go out to the car. I don't want to go to the car. Oh, shoot. I think I left my clippers in the car. Well, try these. I don't want to go to the car. So, you know, you do your thing, you get in here, but I don't see anywhere on this board a gold-banded BGA. That's a flip chip. I already know that because I've taken a bunch of them apart. So there's my first red flag that this is going to be a very bare-bones, low-grade scrap recovery. By the way, these do not work. They were stored outside. They got wet. There is no benefit to giving them away to a school or whatever. I don't understand for the life of me, Phil's Gold, why it takes so long to get from here to you. That's ridiculous. It's not like you're out in East Oshkosh, Kalamazoo, the Arctic somewhere. I wonder if the storm delayed any of the delivery. Alright, so you're gonna get your you get your power supply. I do take the wires. These are these are 14 cents a pound without the wire. That's how I'm going to sell those because I have 100 and something of them to do, and I don't have the kind of time. And I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to clip my wires, blah, blah, blah. All the regular things I do. Like I said, the first thing I see here is, oh crap, there is no gold-banded BGA on the ship. That, my friends, is where they seem to have drawn the line with the change in board grading. It seems to be the elimination of a gold-banded BGA on the PC motherboard. That seems to be where they've drawn the line. If there is no gold-banded BGA, and the arm is an I-core arm, they're going to give you $1.79 a pound, and it's going to cost $1 a pound to ship it. That's the way it is, and I'm telling you that in the past 90 days of dealing with this stress. I'm going to knock the plastic off. I'm going to sell this as old sheet. It's clean aluminum. 44 cents a pound right now. And there it is. The dreaded I-core arm. This is how you know if it's an i-series chip under there. But it gets even better, let me tell you. Oh, okay, great. Maybe I've got an I-core 4 or 7, or maybe even a 9 if I'm lucky. Nope. What I expected to get is going to be what it said in the corner, which is Pentium. Yeah, I want to clean this. I just want to wipe this down so you guys can see this. And again, this is really specific to older Lenovo desktops. Also, there's small form computers, along with the Optimums, small form. Okay for your basic desktop service, but not for much more. And we have a Pentium chip. That's an I-core socket. It's rectangular. It's not square like this is supposed to be. This is rectangular. It's supposed to be square. Now, somebody almost said to me, did they market them as an aftermarket product? I have no idea what they did. I have no idea why they did it. I don't really care, except for the fact that it really does affect me as far as selling these boards, and I care about that a lot. I got screwed on these, not by my seller, not by him. It wasn't his fault. He expected the same thing I did. He didn't do anything wrong. This was just a very unpleasant surprise. My intention was to take them to the yard and sell them for 70 cents a pound, which I usually can get. But when we ever found out what was inside of them, I was like, I can't do that. You know, I have to strip them to hopefully get my money back. And again, absolutely not the guy who sold them to me's fault. This was just it was a bad move. So now just to break even, I'm going to have to scrap them all out. And I didn't really pay a lot for them. I mean, I paid him a very fair price. I paid him what the yard would have paid me, minus like 10% or something. So, yeah. Now I have 100 of these, and I have the same problem in every single one of them. I don't have a date on these, judging from the size. What did it say? I said Windows 97, right? So, yeah, this is just going to be a low-grade iCore board. Even if I take the bracket off, this is rectangular. My buyer is going to grade that as an iCore series board. I would do the same. There's nothing on it. Nothing of value on this board. It's a low-grade POS. Hi, Big Dave. Good morning to you. So, I got 2 sticks of RAM. This is a pinless CPU. It is not an iCore series, even though it looks like one. It's not. Even though it's in an iCore series board, it's not. That sucks. So, that's what you get. I guess I should drink my coffee, then I wouldn't be so bitchy, right? Those of you who follow me know I take lemonades and I will make them into lemonade. So I will use this experience to share and educate those of you who have not yet encountered this. I have never encountered this before. So actually, I shouldn't say that. I wouldn't have looked for it before, is what it comes down to. Because up till about 90 days ago, they'd have thrown this in as a green metal socket motherboard. What's happening is because the price of precious metals has skyrocketed, and they're adding more and more plastic to the boards, you can sell this as a hard drive, as a media drive for, I think they were 20 cents a pound. I usually take these apart. Board Store will buy CD-ROM boards, and there's usually a piece of brass in here. So, that could be taken apart. I put those aside for like winter work right now because I have got to get this mountain of crap off of my patio. A beautiful, nice patio, and it's just drowning in computers. Take your battery off. You can't ship with the battery in there. So, what's happening is this would have sold as a metal socket motherboard without a problem, but now they've differentiated. It's got the iCore arm on it, but the board itself is where the problem lies. There's nothing of value on here. When I get it out, I'll show it to you. There really isn't. It's a nothing burger board for a buyer, for myself too. I would say the same thing. I would not buy this as a green metal socket motherboard. I would buy it as an iSeries. The iSeries chips themselves theoretically have more gold in them. My question becomes, even though they're marked differently, is it not an iSeries chip because it's in this board? Even though it's not marked as an iSeries chip, it's marked as a Pentium chip. So, there's 100 of them here, They're not marked iCore. I don't think I'm going to get iCore for them. What I am going to do is check the serial numbers to see if they're like mismarked iCores. I have no idea why a core or a regular square, why they wouldn't have put that in there. It's certainly mismarked as to what's inside. So, anywho, so be careful with these Lenovos. It's almost like they just took all the extra parts and threw together a Frankencomputer. Frankencomputer. Maybe they're aftermarket. Maybe somebody did custom builds for some office. I have no idea. I just know how, like I said, I just know how it's going to affect me as a board buyer and board seller. Not in a positive way, I must say. Does anybody have any opinions about this matter? Because my opinion is it's not something I want to necessarily repeat because I'm a lady. So, how's the weather where everybody is? Did everybody dodge the hurricane? I hope. We got some rough surf. That was about it. I think we dodged a bullet. It did go out to sea. I don't think it did. I mean, it could have had the potential to do a lot of damage. I'm trying to get this piece of brass. There's a screw stuck in it. I don't understand for the life of me why they take these. That's the other thing, too. They have this big, gigantic Kavunza case and nothing in it. That's why I really think it's almost like a bunch of leftover stuff. And like I said, I don't want to badmouth IBM or Lenovo. That's not my place. My issue is with it being mismarked as to what's actually in it. That's where my issue lies. Anywho, one down, 88 to go. So again, iCore, that's what they're going to buy it as, guys. No matter how much we all kick and moan about it, they're not going to change that. I wouldn't either, because again, there's just nothing on here. You don't even get a gold banded. You get a silicone flip chip. Absolute crap. This gold is much lower grade. This is lower. Even the RAM slots and expansion cards, much lower. It's not bright, shiny gold. It's a very lower quality board. Oh, look, one good chip on there. Yay! Maybe some gold recovery here. Nothing on the back. Worth writing home to Mama about. So that's my issue with these Lenovos right now. There is 5-star Maxell because I get better value for the scrap and taking it apart. If I take it to the yard, I'm going to get 17 cents a pound for the whole computer. If I take the motherboard out, I'm going to get $1.75 a pound at the yard. So that's why I took the motherboards out. If I ship the motherboards, it's going to cost me $1 a pound to ship them, but I have a local yard that will buy them. So I can get my $1.75 plus the rest of the scrap. If I just sell the computer like so, I'm going to make less than $1 a computer. So that's the rationale behind that. Good question, by the way. I did give a good deal of consideration to taking this entire lot of computers and just selling them as is. I did think about that. I did. I can sell the wannabe iCore. 9-pin CPUs are about $9 a pound right now, and RAM is up to almost $40 a pound. So, and then if I take this apart, these boards are $5 and change a pound. So I'm gonna have to go after $5 or $6 in scrap value from each one to try to make my money back on that. So it was a good question. Let me grab one of the Dells. I want to show you the difference in the boards. really, more than anything, guys, the purpose of this video is to show you the difference in the PC motherboards and what to look out for if you're buying old PCs. That's, being a former teacher, I like to have a reason for everything I do, you know? It helps me stay focused, too, so I'm not just, doing some rambling, la-di-da-di, blah-blah-blah video. That would be boring for me and for you. Again, why do they use these huge cases for so little stuff? I don't get that. Hi, JD. Alright. This one's nice and heavy. Hopefully there'll be something in here. Yeah, I have a few Dells that were in with the lot, but overall, yeah, those... I'd be very careful with Lenovo's. I'd be very careful with Optiplex. The small forms. Again, they weren't made for gaming. They weren't made for multitasking. They're made for people who are doing word processing. They're made for data entry. They're made for Excel spreadsheets, things like that. So, they're made for kids to do their homework on. That's what those were made for. They're economical, low cost computer. The small form ones, oh my God, I can't even tell you. They don't even have a removable CPU in them. You gotta know what's in there. I think that's really what it comes up to. Hi, Chad Spark, how are you? Obviously, guys, the best way to get your e-scrap is to get it for free. I wouldn't be bitching if I didn't pay for this, so... Since I paid for it, I'm bitching, but I'm not bitching at the guy who sold it to me. I'm bitching at Lenovo for falsely advertising what's inside of them. All right. I mean, there wasn't even a hard drive in there. Talk about crap. Okay, so this is a more recent hard drive. This is called a SATA, S-A-T-A. So it connects by these colored cables. If you have ribbon wire like this, you're going to get good gold connections underneath it. I do destroy the hard drives. I've always done it. I always have. I always will. Unless it's a vintage one and somebody wants to buy it, then I take it to a technician. I have it reformatted and then I'll sell it, but they gotta pay for that. I just won't. I'm afraid of sending out information. So this ribbon wire, this can just go in with your low grade number 2 wire. There's nothing special about it. So again, this one is a Dell. That's going to be a nice chunk of clean aluminum in there. Yeah, to get clean on this, I'm going to have to knock it apart and take the screws out. These just clip. You actually can flip this and just bang them out with a hammer. They'll come out fairly easily. Like I said, right now, a lot of this stuff is just being put aside. Part of my problem is that this gets into band instrument rental season for me, so it's going to get super, super busy around here. And, you know, I don't like the mess. I don't like the clutter. But you guys all know as well as I do, all the scrappers have to deal with that, and that's why you have to process stuff just like every single day. You got to process stuff, otherwise, you know, your yard ends up looking like the scrap yard, and I don't like that. I just got my yard fixed up. I don't want to, you know. I actually think I'm probably going to start backing out of the intense scrapping that I've done. I'll always be, I mean, I think I'll always scrap. I'll always do it because I enjoy doing it. It's very therapeutic. It's very relaxing. Love hanging out on TikTok talking to you guys. But I'm slowing down. Not in a bad way, but you know, I've reached an age where I'd like to retire. I'd like to do some traveling. I've got a myriad of work to do on my mom's house. I bought the house in real estate, and you know, it's got to get fixed up. It's, you know, it's 70 years old. It needs a lot of fixing up, and you know, we'll get out from under the flood damage. And you know, see how it goes from there. My family's here, her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Everybody's here in Connecticut, so moving away from my world is not something I really want to do. But I also don't want to work 80 hours a week anymore either. Trying to sell the... Well, I closed my music school. The school is closed. And we've just cut down to doing online instrument rentals. That's not too bad. I'm busy in September and I'm busy in June. And then during the year it's just maintenance. It's not too bad. So you have to get the faceplate out, guys, to push these things through. Hi, Dave Speed Shop. Now this one, yeah, this would be the same thing. You can't really see it, but there are gold pins here. This is definitely one I would take apart because it's probably got decent chips on it. And this one is a CD, DVD, rewritable. Again, I have those aside for off-season work. They're all nice, stacked nice and neatly. I went to the storage bin this morning and, you know, put everything in nice and neat. You know, over the winter, you know, you go pick up a milk crate full of stuff, bring it home, process it, and, you know, send it off on its merry little way. So this, see the gold pins? I took the ribbon wire, nice gold pins. Probably throw that in with low-grade peripheral boards. It's got visible gold, it's got some chips. There is no right or wrong in the world of board grading. It's something you have to learn to do, and you know what? After you've done 10 million computers, it gets easier. Peripheral boards just basically are anything that's not a motherboard. This doesn't really have any chips on it. I'm going to amend that. I'll take these pins and I'll throw this in with low-grade boards. I'll put that aside too. Probably has a silver contact in it. I sell those by the bagfuls. So yeah, here I will take the gold pins and then I'll just throw this into low-grade boards. There's gold here too. Nice gold there. Oh, again, that's in the later gator pile. Anybody making plans for Labor Day weekend? You guys gonna have a cookout? Have your family over? Kids back to school and all that fun stuff? I can't believe they make the kids go back to school before Labor Day around here. I never understood that. I still don't understand it. When I was a little girl, we never went back until after Labor Day. Of course, we walked to school in 6 feet of, inches of snow. We got a lot of snow back in the day. Back in the day, when I was just a little girl. They got the stupid screw in here that doesn't want to. See, this is already a better value. And I think this one I might have got a bunch of these for free. Much nicer well, PC RAM is not as chunky. Like the RAM I take out of the servers that I sell to you guys is always super, super chunky. Not that there's anything wrong with it. RAM is kind of by weight, so to speak, How, like, in other words, it'll take 60 of these to make a pound as opposed to 30 of server RAM, hypothetically. So, got some nice RAM out of the deal. Now, in this case, I'm hoping that there is a gold-banded BGA under here. It won't really matter. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Oh, I lied. It's a flip chip. I lied. Wash my mouth out with soap. I told a big fat cow cook's lie. So again, this comes apart pretty easily. You got nice clean aluminum that you can get your hands on right away without any extra processing. 2 screws, and that can go in clean aluminum. They're never going to give you extruded, guys. Wishful thinking. They just don't do it. They just take everything as old sheet. ahead, say it. Oh shit. Yeah, that's how they take it. It's old shit. I had to get a joke in. You know, what would Scrappy D's video be without a joke or two, huh? Those Lenovos are a joke. They're not super hard to knock apart either. It's probably in your best interest to take one apart. If you get a big load like that, don't get burnt like I did. You know, and as I said, it's absolutely not the fault of the guy who sold them to me. Absolutely not. I just never had encountered such crap. So 3.5-inch floppy. Pull this apart. You got good gold pins here. That's a nice board. I sell those for gold refining too. I do have an eBay store, and in the eBay store, checked it now. It says it arrived at destination August 21st. Ah, okay. That was yesterday, right? 21st? I don't even... Isn't that awful? That's a sure sign that you're ready to retire. You don't have a freaking slightest idea what day it is. Alright. So, here's where the board buying rub comes. Now, mind you guys, I do buy boards. Okay? So, this board is going to grade a lot better than this board. Okay? Take a look just to remind yourself. iCore arm. There is no gold banded BGA on here. There's very little precious metal recovery. Okay? This board, and back 6 months ago, this would have sold. It could have gone. They had the iCores and everything. They were mixed together. It could have gotten away with a small metal socket motherboard. Not anymore. Now, that has to go as an iCore board. Much less value, $1.79 a pound, I think was what we said. Now look at the difference. Here's what all my grousing is about. Square, right? Pentium. Why on earth would you put a Pentium, an iCore board, with something that isn't an iCore chip and screw everything up? I don't get it. They're supposed to be square like this. I don't have to get it. I don't care anymore. I'm beyond caring about it. I care because I'm you know. I care because you know, cost me, you know, I'm going to lose money on the deal if I don't scrap all these computers up. Anyway, hopefully, guys, with a little bit of luck, this video helps you avoid the mistake that I made. Now, mind you, I've got experience doing this. I've been doing this for years. You all know that. You've been watching me for a while. And, hi, are you freaking kidding me? How are you this morning? You know, so, if I can get burned, so can you. And again, nobody burned me deliberately. Absolutely not. And I had already signed a contract with the gentleman for a set price, and I'm going to honor that. It's not his fault. But my point is, they're very easy to open. Crack one open. Yeah. The stickers were wrong. Didn't say anything about an iCore series board in there. I wouldn't have paid as much for them if it did. I was expecting this. I was expecting a metal socket green motherboard. I didn't. It is a metal socket, but it's a metal socket iCore. The difference is there's not as much value on the board. That's the rub. It all has to do with precious metal pricing. It has to do with trying to keep computers affordable that everybody can buy them. That's, you know, that's how all this started. I mean, back in the day, guys, you go back, you look at some of the really old boards, you know yourself, you're into gold refining, they're covered with gold and ceramics and full of precious metals. But, long story made short, as precious metal pricing increased, they added more and more plastic to them. So now you've got this, you know, you got this kind of, you know, that kind of iCore garbage. And they're having trouble. The iCores, the new chips, they're burning. I forgot what system it is. It begins with an Roblox, maybe? They can't be refurbished. They've gotten soaking wet. There's rust in them. There's no way to do that. Nobody wants them, I'm telling you. If he couldn't sell them to somebody, what makes you think I can? They can't be refurbished. If they could, I would. I spend my life donating things to the school district. I refurbish musical instruments, and I donate those. As a matter of fact, I just made a donation because I am closing my teaching school. I donated a bunch of bass guitars, bass amps, keyboards, speaker system. That all went to the local school. So, I do a good deal of donating. And on occasion, I will get updated or very good laptops. That's the other thing, too. This gentleman that I got these from, he upgrades computers. He does it for a living, so reselling to him things that would work is not going to be an issue. He's going to be a really good source for doing that. So refurbishing, it's not. It's going to cost me. It's not worth it. That's correct. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in on that. A lot of people don't understand that. They think you can, and no offense to anybody, this forum is here to ask questions and to offer constructive discussion. They're not worth refurbishing. Number one, they've been sitting outside, they got wet. Number two, they're old. People want faster, more efficient computers. The licensing to install the software is another whole set of issues. This won't take Windows 11. And how long can you sit on things before, you just wind up with a big mess at your house? So I very specifically buy computers that I intend to part out and recycle. That's what I do. I want to keep them out of the landfill. I want to make money selling the boards, I won't lie. And that's what I do. So, I buy things that I'm pretty sure don't work. And like I said, sure, hi Skeeter, how are you? If I can donate it, or if I think it can be fixed, yes, I would certainly do so. I make enough money that I don't have to worry about giving stuff away. Matter of fact, I have a bunch of laptops down in the basement that I just got from a school. They have to upgrade because they can't get support for Windows 10 anymore, so they bought all Windows 11 or some such thing. There's nothing wrong. The computers all work. So my intention is to sell them to the gentleman who I got these from, and he's going to upgrade them and do whatever he does with them. So, yes, of course. As long as it doesn't wind up in a landfill, I don't care. Anyway, that's another whole issue. So look at the difference. And again, this is all on my soapbox about board grading. Much better, much brighter gold. This is much dimmer. There's probably more brass in here than anything else. Even here, I can see the difference in the gold. Okay, this is the candy cane arm. This is square, so this is a small metal socket, green motherboard. That's what it is. Look at the board itself. Here it is. Here's your gold banded BGA. Here's your value. Here's your value. Flip chip, Flip chip, So, yeah, this is a much better board for a refiner than this is. So there's the difference. This will sell for $3.49 a pound. This is selling for $1.79 a pound. This is what I thought I was going to get out of the Lenovos. I didn't expect to get this, or I wouldn't have paid what I paid. So be very careful if you're buying a big lot like that, especially if it's a Lenovo, and that's not to insult Lenovo. Who knows what the buyer ordered? Maybe they ordered an economy thing because they needed a whole bunch for the school. Who knows? But they were not marked with what was inside. And not knowing the history of the buy or the sell of these, I don't know. So if you're going to buy a big lot like this and it says Lenovo, take it apart and look inside before you commit to purchase. That's the bottom line. So $3.49 a pound, $1.79 a pound, $1 to ship, $1 a pound to ship. So that is that. The candy cane ones I will sell to board sort. And the iSeries, thank God in heaven, I have a local yard that'll pay 75 cents. No, Kristen, I don't. Does this hurt the motherboard? Well, I don't care because I'm selling the motherboard for scrap. These motherboards have been wet. They were left outside. They were neglected. In the answer to that same question, Stu asks, does this hurt the motherboard? If you have a computer that hasn't been subject to the weather, oh no, board sort is not a scam. Board sort is outstanding. I've been dealing with board sort since they started. eBay is expensive to do business on. You have to pay shipping, you have to pay a commission. But let me kind of back up a little bit about that. Wow. Bare boards for 30 cents a pound. That's if you take everything off. Yeah, a lot of people do that too. You know what? Everybody has their niche. This is mine. Going backwards. Does it hurt the motherboard? I have a few computers down in the basement. They're older. They're vintage. They came from a house to my house. They didn't sit outside. Those are things I'll resell. Why? Because you can't get the parts for those, and there's a market for it. But before I sell them, I have to have them wiped and reformatted. So, I mean, I certainly would resell something like that. But these motherboards, there's no resale in them. It's just not worth it. That's true. Board sort shipping is not free. That's absolutely true. But they also pay at least $1 a pound more than everybody else. I think you're going to find, and this is not a knock at board sort, not in any way, shape, or form. I never would. I have had nothing but good experiences with them. They're honest. They're the first to the table with this. But I think just in general, and I was having this conversation on my live yesterday or the day before, I think you're going to find more and more e-scrap refiners coming into the market. There's a company called Mint Innovation. They're out of Australia and New Zealand. And they just opened up down in Texas. And it's actually kind of sort of how I got into this whole computer scrapping thing. I was watching companies like NVIDIA and AMD, and everybody's jumping onto this whole AI thing. And I'm thinking to myself, where the heck are they going to get these rare earth metals? Where are they going to get the gold? Where are they going to get the copper? You know, it's all in short supply. There's only so much of it. So, back to the whole board buying thing. Yeah, Piglet, that's not an answer that I can actually give because I don't refine them. I sell them to people who do refine them. The question was how much value in gold is in the board. I'll bet you if you hit hashtag value in gold value in motherboards, I'm sure you'll find something. Somebody who specifically does that. Like I said, I take them apart, I strip them, I sell the boards. Up until last year, I had a local yard who I taught how to e-scrap, and I was doing very well with them. We had a falling out, unfortunately, and they threw me out. Imagine such a thing. How childish. I don't agree with you. Get out of my yard. After I just helped you build a business, you throw me out like that. You know. So that's how that changed my whole business model. But I think you're going to find, you know what, he's not being negative. He's asking questions. And, I didn't have all the answers when I first started this too. And don't forget, and thank you for your kind words, by the way. Don't forget, a lot of people join these forums because they're new to this and they need to find out and understand why things are the way they are. I don't find it insulting. I don't get upset about it. I must answer the same question 10 times a day about, oh my God, you're throwing away a perfectly good computer. I'm not. But through the course of discussion, people are going to understand why that. Play the song Loser by Alexander Hibbs. Please subscribe too. What the hell's that got to do with anything? Come on, guys. Don't be negative, okay? This is a nice channel. We have nice discussions. I have nice followers. And, you know, if you're here to ask questions and learn stuff, well, ask away. Don't, you know. We have a nice rapport here, and I want to keep it that way. I hope, Alexander, I hope, Alligator Cyborg, I hope you're not indicating that I'm a loser. That wouldn't be nice. I'm going to hope that's not what you meant. And if you did, well, then I'm not the channel for you. Anyway, so that is going to conclude my live this morning. Again, my focus this morning was the difference between I-core boards and metal socket, green metal socket motherboards. Specifically with Dell computers and Lenovo computers. So I would like to wish everybody a splendid day. Are you freaking kidding me? This RAM probably, I think board sort's at 37 a pound right now. This is a great question. B-Mud Racer 95. I've been saving old gold-plated computer parts for years. My cousin is starting to refine it. And I got off topic because I got a little thrown by one of the comments. I started saving. I started into this because I started wondering where are they going to get the materials to refine all this. And really, boards that are pre-2020 are much higher in gold content. Gold is the best conductor for data and electricity. It doesn't burn. Everything else burns. Tin burns, brass burns, steel melts. You know, they can't take the heat. Plastic melts. The gold that was in the original boards, the early computer boards, they were much high quality, much better for gold refining than this stuff is. This is more plasticky. That's why it's being bought for so much less than the older boards are. I also have been saving the older boards. I did very well. I waited till the telecom boards got up to $8 and $9 a pound. I did sell about half of them. And there's a local refiner here. He won't buy anything that's made after 2020. So yes, the older boards have a much higher gold content. If you have questions about gold refining, I am not the one to ask. Like I said, I am a recycler. I take them apart and I sell them to people who do gold refine. Are you kidding me? This is not the best RAM in the world. It's okay. It's older. It's got gold on one side and it's got the IC chips here. This is probably, I don't know, the server RAM is at 40. This is probably at 30. I don't know how much I have, though. I think I've got maybe a pound. Not the greatest quality RAM I have, though. I usually sell off to a company. But if I get any more server RAM, I'll sure let you know. I've got 20 servers outside. Maybe I'll find some server RAM in there. Yeah, let me know, Phil's Gold. I'm glad to see that it doesn't... I'm glad to see that at least it's gotten closer to you. Are you freaking kidding me? It says gold doesn't corrode either. That's exactly right. The server RAM, just... I prefer to... When I sell RAM to my TikTok subscribers, I like to sell the server RAM only because it's chunkier with chips on both sides. Not that there's anything wrong with this. I mean, it's fine. It just takes more to make a pound. I just think, I don't know. I like to sell you guys the high quality stuff. Not that somebody wanted to buy a pound of this, I have it. I like to take good care of my TikTok people. Yeah, bigger pieces. It's chunkier. It's heavier. Each stick weighs about twice as much. But anyway. Alright, so anyway, I am going to head off and see if I can get a load to the scrapyard. It's not a big load, but I just don't want all this stuff all over the house. And then I'm going to meet my niece for lunch. And I want to wish everybody well. Thank you for stopping in and visiting the channel. Like I said, don't ever be afraid to ask questions. I'm open to questions, and if I don't know, I guarantee one of my subscribers will. If you're looking for information, definitely, hit hashtag whatever it is you're interested in. There's a lot of people here who do gold refining. You know, and there may be something more item specific than just the recycling and discussion about board buying that I do. All right, everybody, have a good day. Be well. God in heaven bless every one of you. Thank you for spending some time with me. I will repost the video both on YouTube and TikTok so that you can go back and hopefully find good information for yourselves. Take care. Bye-bye.